Okay, we're gonna record this session. Session will be for custom groups. So if you want to group your instances into groups and run some KPIs, what you need to do. So how to start it? You need to know that we created like a common vista called in just a second, something like custom groups. I don't remember the real name. Yes,
Custom groups.
yes, we created a Vista custom groups. It inherits from
Lukasz, can we do it based on the real example of this BSC stats or not?
real example of BSC stats. I don't understand. You want to group BSC stats?
Yes, as you like trunk roots and lies, as you remember, group of trunk roots and group of lies. Because the same BSCs are defined on each and every MSC, and very often we need the grouped value for BSC, for example.
This would require Perl scripting, Alexander, so I have to say no, unless you are okay to group it manually. But all the custom groups created for the project, we are using Perl scripting for that, and therefore it's not just InfoVista knowledge that is required here.
So this what you mean manual grouping?
Manual means that you will need to create a CSV file with the groups itself, and then also with the members and association to those groups. Just a second. So I guess you would like to create like a group based on the BSC, right?
Yes, the names are the same. I checked already.
Yeah, I can see it. So, as I said, it would require if you want to automate it, it would require Perl scripting, which you have to understand. I showed you the scripts, you guys can do it yourself, but for now, we can only do it manually. So we will need to list all these guys into some CSV file, external CSV file, and then assign the members.
Okay, can we do it during this session, or it is a more complex process? And
The manual, yes, we're gonna do it. So it's a good example. Basically, it's a good example. So, all right. So we can do manually, and then in the future, you guys can work on automating it with Perl, any other scripting languages. It's up to you. I can show you the, let's say, easiest way. Okay. So let's go back to the model tab. We have a vista called custom group. This is not really true. I think I've changed the name of that guy, and it's showing wrong name in here, because it should show us
did you start recording? Sorry.
yes, it's
Okay.
being
Okay.
recorded. Okay. Anyway, we have a vista called custom groups. This vista inherits from InfoVista Geocell recursive and from VistaMart group. Again, the word here lac3g should not be in here. The lac3g was the initial name of that vista, and then what I did was I renamed it to custom groups. Why? Because I realized that there is so many group types, and initially I was creating, each one vista for each group type. You have country, city, okay, we have network, region, we have vendor, But then I was like, oh, but there is so many little groups where you only group one type of instances, like lax, like sax, like I don't even remember, but yeah, mobile location areas. So I was like, no, it's not gonna be easy to always add new vista, always create new property type IDs, and like starting from scratch every time. So then I decided to create one vista, which is again custom groups. This vista has a specific property that actually mm, tells the user or you what is the group type. Okay, so it's a string property, and this string property is later on used also for the rules, because you can imagine that, hey, if you use one vista called custom group, and then you have one group for mobile location areas and another group for lax and another for sax, then at some point you need to distinguish somehow the rules and start only 2G KPIs or core MSC KPIs based on the group member. Okay, association to the group is done with the mock properties. So this why, if I don't know if you remember yesterday, I was wondering if we can change the multi-value mock property to a single value. We cannot, because the guy, the member, can be a part of, let's say for example the one we did yesterday, MSC BSC stat. It's this proxy is a member of MSC, which is his parents, but right now we will like to create like a custom group, okay, where we will reuse the same mock property and we will add a new value to it to point to our custom groups. This why the mock properties are multi-value, and good we didn't decide to uncheck that and try to do something about it. So that's when it comes to the theory. Now when it comes to practice, let's say, we have workflow topology updates. Okay, we went through that workflow some time back, and basically this workflow is executed every time trigger mode for Ericsson or for Huawei kicks in. This workflow is like last step. It basically does all the groupings, okay, and it imports your CSV files, all these GPS coordinates and stuff. Now the first part of the workflow is for the auto grouping. Okay, so if you ever decide to automate it, the process of grouping the BSC stats, you will need to create the export massive data export for all the BSC stats. So you will need to create the MDE file with some specific name and the syntax. I hope you remember we did the workshop for MDE as well. You even have a massive data export example workflow here, but all these steps in parallel, the ones that are parallel, let's say, they are doing the export from VistaMart. Why is that? Because as soon as Vista Link for Ericsson or Huawei provisions the topology into Mart, then we can export that using MDE together with some properties that we need for further actions. Then here it comes. This is the script, create groups.sh, that is actually calling the Perl script. To be honest, two Perl scripts, and it creates the CSV file. Sorry, preprocess CSV files. I think this preprocesses your files, and here we import the groups into the Geocell groups zone. Okay, let's have a quick look into the file called opt-info-vista topology Geocell groups. Okay, this file is located on VistaMart server. Okay, so it has plenty of lines, and by default you can assume that the first column tells you the type of the group. This file contains not only the instances of the custom groups vista, but also instances for common vendor, for vendor, for country, for city. So it contains a lot of what is this? Just a second. Vendor. I think it's some like unused vista. Just a second. Geocell city, country network. Yeah, okay. So I don't know why, but it's like some unused vista created. Okay, we are using vista vendor, not this common vendor. Not sure who created it, what for. Not even sure if we can drop it. However, it's just an object definition, so it doesn't really take any resources. Small confusion maybe. Anyway, so this CSV file contains not only the custom groups but also the dedicated Vista groups. Okay. Now, tag, I can say you it's a custom group. Why? Instance of the custom group. I added a special column here. Okay. I create so entries up to here. No, sorry, entries up to here, I think, are coming from the file that I called manual Geocell groups. These manual Geocell groups, I will show you in a second. You guys can put your own groups. Okay, you guys can put your own groups. So this will be the file that we will put our groups into just in a second. Okay, rest of the entries, all these entries, tax, SACs, if we go further down, we have cities in here, we have um, real clusters, we have carriers here, we have flags. So as you can see, all the custom groups that you guys asked for are here, and all that entries again are provided by the per script. So first massive data export from Vistamart, and their per script to actually create all these entries. If we go to directory opt-info Vista topology, and we check the script I told you about, so basically it what it does, it's this is just to check the status. If it's running, then it quits. If it's not running, then it actually runs. This is to protect between Ericsson and Huawei. So if Ericsson called the what's this, the trigger, and it's already running the topology workflow, then for Huawei we will not run it, and vice versa. So that's the first part of the script. Then we have I forgot that if you copy something in the SSH session, then it stays in the clipboard, and I wanted to keep some other stuff, but okay. So in here I'm processing the actual MDE export. Okay, so I'm getting the last line of the MDE export topology, then I'm creating some header of the yeah, basically I'm preparing the CSV files based on the MDE export. I'm preparing different CSV file, and the names are kinda leading to what are those guys. So this is something I told you that we will not do together. Why? Because even if the first part MDE export will we can do, then we will not change the Perl script that I told you about. That we have a Perl script that actually does the job. So it actually creates the entries of the file that I showed you before, this one. From here, this is the Perl create groups job. Now let me show you the it's not easy script. I put description on that, what I'm doing here and all these selects and how I do it. I put it in the handover document. But again, this is not really InfoVista, okay? You guys, if you don't like Perl, feel free to use any other language. But it's kinda big one. And okay, the first part is just regions mainly. Then we have clusters. Then I can see here again regions, because regions can come from multiple domains. Clusters can come from multiple domains as well. Yes, that's all true. Region cluster. Come on, where's some? Here we have SAC. So you can see that there is a dedicated section where I'm using the MDE export, and I'm calling some SQL query to extract the columns from that MDE export, and then I print what I showed you, right? The SAC, for example, vendor 3G, and then the actual SAC value, so value coming from my SQL, and then the custom group. So you see that, and above I have LAC example. Here is the LAC example for Ericsson. You see the Perl script is kinda long, and again, we will not touch the Perl. What we will do is, if you look again into the shell script, if I am not mistaken, yes, the first step, even before calling the script, okay, the Perl script, what I do is I cut the content of manual groups.csv into my Geocell groups.tmp. Later on, I'm changing it to CSV. So let's have a look into manual groups.csv. If we edit that file, manual groups, you will see that there is a couple of lines. Now, do not remove the lines. If you want your own new custom groups, then you just add lines. You cannot remove it, because some features will stop working. So you have to be careful here. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to create BSC stat on Ericsson. Not sure why, but okay. I think we can put here BSC stat. Now we can put here one of the guys, HBSC3, right? And this is not really right. Now what we can do is we can copy that line and we can create a new one, because for
This is Ericsson, yes?
HSBC3 is Ericsson.
This is yes, for yeah, no, but this is MSC statistics.
Yeah, and it's going
MSC,
to Huawei. It doesn't really matter that it's going to Huawei. What matters is, yes, you're right. Because this will lead us to run only KPIs that are for Ericsson or for multi-vendor. If it doesn't have the Ericsson formula, we don't need. Yeah, you're right. So it's Ericsson. Even that it's HSBC5, right?
yes.
2, 4, 6, and 7. 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 Okay, so this will be kinda easy. Okay, this will be kinda easy. Why? Because it's after all.
We don't need regular expressions here.
Yeah. Okay, then next one. It's E4. 2, 4, 6, and 7, right? Right. Now, let's have a look into the XML file that is used for that, because you see we just created, we will make that our Geocell groups.csv will contain the manual groups for BSC stats. Now there is a corresponding XML file that is used and that points tells Vistamar that hey, column 1 is this, column 2 is that. So let's have a look into Geocell groups.xml file. So we have instances type city, no, this is not the one we are looking for. Network, no. Country, no. Region, no. Vendor, no. Vendor, no. Luck, it might be this one. Cluster, no. Alright, so what it tells me is that, so where is SAC, where is others? I think under luck. Just a second. Yes, custom group. So the naming is a little bit misleading, but luck3g, yeah, because you see previous name of custom groups was luck3g, but later on what happened is that it doesn't really care if it's luck or something else. So what I'm gonna do for future, for your life to be easier, I'm gonna call it custom groups. Okay, so now look, every time when condition is true, this is my condition, okay, inside of the XML file. Condition says that column number 5 should contain a string custom group. Let's have a look. Column 1, 2, 3, 4 and column 5 is contains custom group. Perfect. So every time when the condition is true, for each line of the CSV file, we create instance of Vista. Believe me, this is the WID of custom groups Vista. Okay. Then the tag of the instance is a combination of 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's have a look. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. We repeat BSC stat. We can change it somehow. What is the name? Actually, name is column 4. Okay, name is column 4. Okay. All right, it can stay like that. I'm thinking of something more user friendly, but okay, in case of Huawei we can put here Batumi Kutaisi, but in case of TBBSC 2, 4, 6 and 7 not really, because those are the real names. So let's leave it as it is. In worst case we will have two times the BSC stat string inside of the tag, not a big deal. The name is column 4, so you remember HSBC 3, HSBC 5, TBBSC 2. It's okay to have a name like that, not a problem. Mapping. So this part actually fills the properties, okay? So we fill like two properties, I can say here. Property number 1, where we take value from column 2, and property number 2, where we build value out of 1, 2 and 3, columns 1, 2, 3. Right. Now let's have a look what is the property with this WID. I don't remember by heart, so I have to go to Vistamart Inventory Manager, to the Model tab, and I have to search for properties, where WID is this. Now I can take the name and I will update the file. Okay, I will update the file to make your life easier in the future. Just I don't remember how we put comments inside of this XML file. Huh. I think it's this way. Let me see. Let me see. Do you remember how to put comment in the XML file? Any of you?
No.
Ah, like that. Okay, so this is my property. Ah, it's not in here, sorry. This should go here. Okay, and then this property, I think it's a custom group type. The property I told you about, that we have a property, string property, which we fill with the type. Almost sure. Yeah, it's that one. So again, to make your life easier, I'm gonna put it here. Again, you will not need to do it, right, in the future. I'm just showing you what is going on with the existing stuff and to make your analysis later on easier. So we fill two properties and that's it. And this is how we create the custom groups. So even without me saving that file, because it's completely correct, the name here is a free field string, okay? I just updated it to make it more clear. But even without saving that file, but with just saving this file where we actually created our 6 instances, we will have our groups created inside of VistaMart. So I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna also save my XML just to be sure that everything works fine. And we will run the workflow. Is there any trigger mode planned soon or not really?
I think it is finished, or maybe it is ongoing. No, finished. No.
Yeah, it's finished. It's finished. So, but it kicked in second time. Do you see that?
Yeah, yes, I know why. Because Ericsson now have fixed this problem with VLR subscribers, and this time of updating cell topology file was moved a bit from the utran file. So that's why we have trigger mode working twice, but just now I asked to synchronize that stuff.
Okay, all right. So because the start discovery is first step, but then just after it will run the update topology workflow, right? Topology updates. Execute called workflow 001 topology updates. This is how it normally looks. So in a second, the workflow shall kick in, and it should put the content of manual groups into the Geocell groups file. Yeah, so in a second we should see that. Is it clear so far?
By this moment, yes.
Okay, cool. That's important. So in a second after this finishes, we should have empty groups, okay? Because in here we only define the group definitions. There is nothing more. Nothing assigns our our instances to the what's this, to the to those groups. Okay, the association happens to the groups, to all my automatic groups, happens here. So the first, no, not first task of the workflow, but the first we import the groups 001D, and then we import a CSV files created by my other scripts with all the 2G cells, 3G cells, 4G cells, MSC trunk routes, everything that we group. Okay, if we don't group something, it's not appearing in that file. This file is a combination of your CSV files as well as all these massive data export files. Okay, so for example, in your files, in your CSV files, you don't list any MSC trunk routes. I export them, I create the groups, but later on I also take this MSC trunk routes topology, so all the instances, and I pre-process them, and I create the file that is called Geocell Ericsson run with tags, and also another file, Geocell Huawei run with tags. Okay, now let's have a look into that file. Okay, so you can see plenty of 2G cells, plenty of 3G cells, plenty of 4G cells, and then you will see BTSs, eNodes B, Nodes B, because all these instances I group somehow, right? So we have eNodes B, we have mobile location areas, all the mobile location areas listed here. Now, again, you are not creating the CSV file for me. I'm extracting information from Vistamart, and then I use my Perl in order to build all that lines. Okay, in our case in our case, the custom grouping, the Perl will not do that for us. Correct? Perl is not going to do that for us. So what we need to do is we would need to create it. Okay, we would need to create it manually in order to assign, or we can use inventory manager to assign them manually without manipulating the files. Furthermore, I don't know which way is easier, because you see the CSV file is has to be maintained, but also the manual way of grouping also has to be maintained, right? So let me see if we have it already. No, sorry, this one. Still discovering. Quite long, huh? No, okay. It takes 7 minutes 37 seconds normally. Okay, so we still need to wait for this to finish. But what we can do is we can use Vistamart Inventory Manager to assign instances to the groups. Okay, let me show you very quickly how this can be done. So we are talking about our MSC BSC stats. Okay, if I choose one of the MSC BSC stats and I'll open the lock here, I am able to manipulate the property values. Okay, now which property values I am interested in? The MOG property value. I told you that we need to provide second value to the MOG property, so to these properties. Actually, to that one it's even more important, because this one underscore Ericsson is used for the KPIs as far as I remember. Anyway, we need to, or we can, by clicking on it, we can add instance here. Why it's calling adding instance? It's not really adding instance, it's pointing to the group to which we want this guy to belong to, right? I don't want to click yet. I'm still waiting for that group to exist. Okay, it exists. Import groups is running, so very soon we should see the new groups. You can go to browser, Geocell groups, new instances. This is the one. Not yet. Okay, so you see that, right? That the manual groups are always on the top of the final file used. We are still waiting for this to finish. Come on. Okay, created. You see, right? So we have a custom group created. You can see that it has two properties field. So up to now, it's very easy. You just need to add your groups into the manual groups.csv file. This is really easy, I hope. And then two options: a tricky one, which means finding a way of some additional CSV file with all the members, or the understandable one or easy one where you use the inventory manager to do it. I'm gonna continue very quick how to use inventory manager. Just want to show you these two properties that we fill: common vendor Ericsson and group type BSC stat. So let's go back to our web console. Now if I click here and I search for HSBC3, no, didn't find it.
HBC.
HBSC3. Okay, so now I need to find a group and not actual instances. Hey, why?
Maybe we have to wait for finish of that topology update.
Is it still running, Lucas, the topology update?
Even if sometimes, Vistamart is not cooperative, let's say. Cancel, it needs to finish everything. Theoretically, the group zone is already done, right? Instances imported, and we can actually find the group instance inside of inventory manager. Okay, let me check one thing. If I go here, so I tried using the inventory manager on the web, but this is also possible to use it from here, to do it from here. So my first instance is HSBC3, okay? I need to identify my my mock property, which is mock BSC stat and mock BSC stat Ericsson, mock MSC BSC stat, sorry, mock MSC RNC BSC stat, this one, right? So what I need to do is I need to click here on the value. It's the same as in the web console, just heavy client. Okay, let's see if this one can find that instance now. Value. Okay, and then we search for HSB. No, what was HBS3? Yes, launch query. I think it's this one, Geocell groups, HBSC3. So now if I press OK and finish, that instance, BTMS-CS5 HBSC3, will be part of two groups, right? MSC itself, because it's a child, let's say, and our new group. This is the tag of the group we just created. You remember? Column 1, 2, 3, 4. Want to see the guys again? Column 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a tag. Why? Because the property type ID contains the tag of the instance to which it points to. Not really the name, but tag of the instance to which it points to. Or tag of the group instance, we can say, right? So this is how you assign it manually. To assign it automatically, it's not gonna be easy. First of all, you will need to create a list, a CSV file with all these instances. Okay, and then and then corresponding XML file maybe. This again is all the CSV file is created automatically by my per scripts, but of course not for that bit. So I don't know. Do you want to maintain the another CSV files, or you will assign it manually, knowing that it's like limited number of, right? You don't add new MSC, or you don't add new BSC every day. So which way you want to go?
You mean manually? So
like we did
manually,
so now
we have to do it for each instance in the BSC stat.
Yes. So now it's gonna be this one, right? You click here, properties. Actually, we should also fill the other mock property for this one as well, right? You remember it has like two type of mock properties: vendor agnostic and vendor specific. So vendor agnostic we didn't do. Let's do quickly.
So theoretically, we can do it once, and then if some MSC will be added in a network, we should do it for instances coming from that new MSC.
Yes. Okay, so this one is already added to our new custom group. Then this one is not added, so we can do it. HBSC5, right? Launch query. This one. Click close. Okay, and then we can modify this one as well as we are here. That's it. I'm not gonna add more, right? Again, you can do it now. HBSC5. Okay, finish. Okay, so this is added. Even that it don't see it, if you click here and here to refresh, it should be already there. Hey, one more time. What, we didn't remember it or what? What's wrong? One more time. Maybe I pressed something wrongly. HBSC5. Launch. Okay. Finish. Okay. All right. I'm almost sure that this is also possible. Okay. Let's one more time. Let's try. What? Oh, okay. First the lock. Then we go here. Okay, so web console doesn't want to cooperate. It will, it will after some time. Maybe Vistamart restart can help to speed it up. But as long as we can use inventory manager, then it's not a stopper from moving forward. So what we have for until now, it's 6 groups and one instance in one group, another instance in another group. This is actually enough to move forward and to maybe create some rules. Now, like yesterday, let's try to identify a rule that we already have for some custom groups. Okay, one of the custom groups is, for example, LAC 3G Ericsson. So we click here on the existing rule. We go here, we remove the WID, we provide the correct name. BSC stat on Ericsson. Okay, then conditions: custom group, yes. No LAC Ericsson 3G. It has to be BSC stat, I think, underscore Ericsson underscore BSC stat, because it's column 1, 2, 3. Just let's quickly check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's my custom group type. 1, 2, 3. And you remember column 1 and 3 is equal. So BSC stat underscore Ericsson underscore BSC stat. This condition has to be checked on the custom group type. Yes, that's the one. And then we need to put here the KPIs. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna only leave one start slot close. Why? Because all the BSC stats that you guys created yesterday, they all have the same what's this? They all have the same user field. The LAC 3G, because it's a little bit more complicated. These are the group of 3G cells after all, or nodes B, I don't remember, but it has multiple user fields, not only 3G auto KPI, but much more. Of course, I need to change 3G auto KPI to, I don't remember what, we have to check in a second, unless you, Alexander, remember, because I think you created the user field.
Yes, you need the user field. It is MSC core MSC BSC stat auto KPI.
Some space between.
Then space, yes, space. BSC stat auto KPI.
Like that.
Yes.
Okay, and the library is not mobile. As far as I remember, it's one of the core libraries, right?
Core.
Core.
VM core KPI. Yes.
This one.
KPIs.
Okay, so now if I save, it will get the new WID and it should work because that's it. Let's quickly just, not that I don't trust you, but we can quickly see if the library is correct and if the user field is correct. It was inter MSC or inter BSC. This one. Core MSC BSC out stat auto KPI, okay, and core KPIs. Yes, so this should be enough. Now if I test the rules on the Geocell groups, I should see that for my 6 groups all the necessary slots will be created.
Hello?
Yeah.
Are you with us?
Yes. We're waiting, right, for that.
So update is finished. Why it took more time than usual?
Not sure.
Started at 20 and finished at 47.
Okay, so those are our groups expected, and each group will have 4 KPIs and 4 counters started. See? Do you agree that everything is fine? So okay,
Yes.
let's apply it. So you see the manual association is not difficult when there is limited number of instances, right? And in here it is limited number of instances because what we have, each MSC has 6 proxies, right? Each MSC has one BSC specific proxy, so we have a limited number of. But when it comes to the cells, for example, if you want to group cells, then you need to modify the scripting. Then you need to maybe not modify the scripting. You can put your additional CSV and XML files to that. But of course, manual association is not gonna be solution to that. You will need to find a way to, if you look here, and if you look at the tasks, import CSV file, so you will need to find a way to add additional column into that file. right? So we have each 2G cell has plenty of columns. You would need to find a way, enriching my scripts, adding your own scripting, up to you, to add a new column here, okay, with a value that will allow you to identify the tag of the group to which you want to add your 2G cell, and then you will need to modify that file, the XML file. Okay, let me open it in the notepad. Ericsson run this one. You will need to modify that file and add that new column here as additional property clause. Okay, so this is how you can automate it. Okay, this is finished now. If we go to our custom groups, you will see that its slots are running now. And that will be it. Questions?
Not from my side.
You know, I put here in the handover document that we will share with you very soon. I put here the small descriptions on the Perl script, okay, and algorithm that I'm using inside of these create groups, and actually all my scripts where I need to play with CSV files. So I put some description here, okay, how I do it, what is the algorithm, example query. But again, this is not really InfoVista, okay? So it's for you to understand the way the scripts works, but that's it. We cannot do more. We are not providing any Perl training. All is available on the internet. So for fully automatization, you would need to enrich my scripts, or as mentioned, you can change Perl to some other and add it on top of what we are doing.
We already have first data for group of BSC stats.
Yeah, but of course this is a dummy grouping because it only contains one instance in one group and one instance is in another group. Here, this one and this one is part of the group. Now you need to follow up and add all the others to the existing.
Okay, when we will add all others, do we need to update the rules?
No, because basically you see all the KPIs are running, groups exist, and groups the KPIs are running for the groups. So as soon as there is some new instance part of the group, it's taken into account. To be on safe side, you can apply the rules, right? To see if some changes, some unexpected things, you can, but theoretically, no, you don't need to do anything else.
Okay, it's clear. So that's all for custom grouping, yes?
I would say yes. If you have no further questions, then yes.
Okay. If
you understand that Perl is out of the scope. I'm not able to, do everything together with you guys.
Yes.
It takes time, even for me. I have to open it, find the right example, copy, paste, modify, think twice, what. So this is something not really InfoVista. We can maybe create the CSV XML file, but we did it. I think we did it. I showed you that when you create the CSV file, with all those instances, then you do provisioning, import topology, you choose the zone. So in our case, it's gonna be, I think, stage 2, because this BSC stats goes to stage 2. You do the additional or primary update, let's say additional update. Then you choose your CSV file. We have any? Yeah, we have some CSV file, and then to build the XML from scratch, you can use the wizard. Okay, where you select which column is what, and you play with it. I'm sure there was a session for that. So if you want to automate this group association, you can refresh the knowledge on how you create CSV and XML file. I think we did it on the Vista Bridge workshop. Right. So, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. So I'll stop the recording right now, and I'll upload it to InfoVista server, and I guess manually sharing it with you